My father sat me down one evening under the dim, yellow light of our lounge, and told me that things were changing in our colony. Thefts were rising, locks were no longer a guarantee, and fear was slowly creeping into the hearts of even the bravest. He looked at me, serious but calm, and said, "We need a guard dog. A real one." That sentence stayed with me longer than I expected. 2 days later, we took the dusty road out of the city, away from the traffic, past the empty farmlands, and into a quiet village where the trees were taller and time moved slower. It was there, in the heart of that forgotten place, that we met him. The master of the dog. He was an old man, sunburnt skin, deep lines on his face, and hands that had seen decades of work. He greeted my father with respect, and then he called for the dog. A strong white bulldog appeared from behind a tin gate. His eyes were calm but intense. His walk wasn't hurried, but every step felt like he knew exactly where he was going. I was scared, not of his strength, but of his silence. The master looked at me and handed me the thick leather belt of the dog. His hand lingered for a second longer, and then he said the words I'd never forget. "Listen, from today, these are your masters. Obey them." The dog looked at him, then at us, and that was it. He never barked, never growled, but I felt something heavy pass between them, like a bond being cut, an old chapter closed. We brought him home. Our big bungalow finally had a guard. In the day, he slept, always in the same room near the side entrance. At night, he came alive, running inside the walls, up and down the driveway, near the gates, and sometimes standing silently in the shadows, just watching. His presence was power. Thieves, if they came close, never dared to enter. We didn't even know if he barked, because he never had to. He was enough. Days passed, and he became a silent member of our home. He ate what we gave him, drank water only after sniffing it, and never once wagged his tail like those friendly dogs you see in movies. He was a soldier, disciplined, detached, and yet, somehow, we all grew fond of him, especially my younger brother, who would often sit outside his room and just talk to him, even though the dog never reacted. Then, one night, something changed. My brother came running into my room, breathless and worried. "Bro, the dog is missing. He's not on his usual patrol." I waited and watched. He didn't come out at all. At first, I thought maybe he was tired. Dogs can fall sick, too. But then, the next night, we watched, from the shadows, waiting, and we saw it. He wasn't gone. He was sneaking out, slowly, carefully, and then he disappeared down the street. We followed, quiet and curious, hearts beating fast. He wasn't patrolling. He wasn't guarding. He was following. A brown female dog from the nearby market lanes. She walked ahead, tail raised, glancing back every few steps. And our guard dog R, loyal, disciplined, trained, soldier followed like a spellbound puppy. I felt something crack inside me. It was like seeing a king give up his throne for something wild and unpromised. Days passed, and he kept going. Every night, the same path, the same escape. He became lazy during the day and slower at night. He stopped barking. He stopped running along the walls. He just waited for the world to sleep so he could leave. Then one night, he didn't come back. Morning came. Afternoon passed. By sunset, we knew he had left us, gone behind the brown dog, who didn't even know he was once the pride of a home. We searched, called, waited, but he never returned. He had forgotten the words of his old master, forgotten the promise, forgotten us. My father didn't say anything for a week. Then he looked at the old belt lying in the corner of the storeroom, picked it up, and placed it quietly in a box. That night, we sat outside like we used to, but something had changed. Not in the bungalow, but inside us. Trust, once broken, doesn't return easily, especially when it's in silence. The kind of silence that follows a loyal friend who never said a word and left without one. 2 weeks turned into months. The empty room beside the side entrance remained untouched. We didn't bring another dog. My father believed that loyalty wasn't something you could replace. Every night, I would glance at the walls, half expecting him to return, to walk in like nothing had happened. But he never did. His bowl gathered dust. The leash grew stiff, and the echo of his soft footsteps across the driveway became just another memory we didn't talk about anymore. But one evening, just before the sun dipped behind the colony walls, I heard a faint sound, a scratch, soft but urgent. I opened the gate, and there he was, dirty, thin, wounded. His fur was stained. He looked older, weaker, and alone. There was no brown dog beside him, no energy in his walk, just guilt in his eyes. He looked at me like he was trying to say something, like he remembered. I didn't call him. I didn't open the gate. I just stood there and waited. He didn't bark, didn't cry. He just sat down outside the gate, like a prisoner asking for forgiveness. I called my father. He walked slowly, saw the dog, and said nothing. Then, without a word, he turned and went inside. The next morning, the dog was still outside, still sitting, still waiting. On the third day, my father opened the gate and walked past him. The dog didn't move, just watched. My brother came out, gave him water, which he drank slowly, like every sip was a memory. Then, quietly, he stood up, walked inside, and went straight to his old room. He lay down and slept, and the walls of the bungalow felt alive again, but not in the same way. He didn't run anymore, didn't patrol, didn't bark. He just stayed close, followed us around, as if he wanted to earn back every moment he had thrown away. At night, he sat near the gate, not to guard, but to watch, and maybe wait, maybe for her, maybe for the version of himself that he had left behind. But she never came. The brown dog never returned. And slowly, very slowly, he accepted that he had been forgotten. Years passed. He became old. His legs didn't work like before. His ears lost their sharpness, but he stayed, never left again. And when he died quietly, on the same spot where he first entered our home. My father buried him in the backyard, under the mango tree. He placed the belt beside him, and we never got another dog again. Sometimes, when the wind is just right, we hear something moving near the gate, a faint step, a silent watcher, and we smile, because loyalty, once broken, can sometimes return. But it never comes back the same. It comes back with scars, with silence, with stories only the heart understands. And now, whenever I see a dog walking alone on the street, I wonder if he too has left someone, if he too remembers a promise, if somewhere, someone is still waiting with a leash and a name that was once called with love. I wonder if he too had a master who said, "From today, these are your masters, obey them," and if he too forgot, just for a moment, what it means to belong.